from the Scripps Studios, this is San Diego's news source, 10 News.
This morning, California on fire. A live look at the flames burning right now in Ventura County. What's in the line of fire and how San Diego firefighters are lending a hand.
On the loose, the brutal attack that triggered a county-wide search in National City overnight. But first at 5 o'clock, let's get a check of your forecast from Robert Santos. Happy Friday to you, Robert.
Happy Friday to you as well. We are still keeping track of that red flag warning that exists for all of Southern California, and that includes us right here in San Diego County. That's for the valleys and the mountains, going through about 6 o'clock tonight because of the stronger winds and also the dry humidity. Now, noticing on the gusts here that we are not seeing as strong as yesterday. We could get a bump as we get closer to sunrise, but it's not going to be as strong as yesterday. The Santa Ana weakens overall today. And now we look at our temperatures, and we're looking at Poway 59, Del Mar at 54, Alpine at 63 degrees. Now here's your planner for today. It's going to be warmer by yesterday, slightly, anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees. We'll go to about 2 p.m. 86. We're backing down from low 90 to more 86 degrees. So still going to be warmer than yesterday. Inland Valley planner, we're going from the low 60s to upper 80s at lunch, and then around mid 90s for our high temperature. Now there's a big cool down coming and a chance for rain. We'll talk about that with the extended forecast in 10 minutes. Here's Melissa Messia now, 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
And Robert, what a difference 10 minutes makes, because I've been talking about that crash on the 163 as you pass the 5, and it looks like that has cleared, so all lanes are clear. We're not dealing with any more issues on the 163. Let me go ahead and show you the 15 here. This is a live look at the 15 right at Valley Parkway. This here, that's southbound traffic. Southbound so far moving nicely to start off your Friday morning commute. Any other trouble spots? I'll make sure to bring them to you coming up in about 10 minutes.
Breaking right now, this massive wildfire continues to spread in Ventura County. The Springs fire has burned a 10-mile path to the Pacific Ocean, burning 8,000 acres. Only 10% contained this morning. 10 News reporter Dana Rice is live with how San Diego firefighters are helping out in the firefight. Good morning, Dana.
Good morning, Koshal. We can tell you that at least 20 firefighters from the city of San Diego alone are already in Ventura County helping firefighters there. And in a few hours later this morning, Mayor Bob Filner will come here to Fire Station 40 to hold a news conference on wildfire preparedness. Let's take a look at that video from overnight. The fire continued to grow. You could see the flames and smoke spreading across the skies over Los Angeles. The work of over 900 firefighters is just beginning. Strong winds fanned the fire while dry brush is making it spread so quickly. Thousands of people have been forced from their homes as they watch the flames closing in on their neighborhoods.
I started getting emotional because I don't want to lose my house, you know, and they say pack your stuff. What do you decide to take and what to leave behind?
And that is, of course, how many are feeling this morning as they watch and wait for word, hoping for good news. Reporting live in Rancho Penasquitos, Dana Rice, 10 News.
Dana, thank you. 5:03 in the San Bernardino town of Banning, crews are slowly gaining the upper hand on the Summit fire you're looking at. 10 News has been showing you these flames in the San Bernardino Mountains since they first began Wednesday afternoon. So far, the Summit fire has burned just under 3,000 acres and is 55% contained. But dry, hot, windy conditions today could cause it to flare up again.
And we'll continue to update you on the dangerous fire conditions both in San Diego and throughout California. Just go to 10news.com and click on the weather tab.
Breaking overnight, a man was attacked inside his car and hurt so badly he had to be treated by medics at the scene. 10 News reporter Hannah Mullins live in National City with what the attackers were after. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning, Bill. I just got off the phone with National City Police, who tell me the man was carjacked, but first forced to drive the suspects around, who we now know are considered armed and dangerous. We want to get to some video we have for you because our 10 News photographer was in place just after midnight as an ambulance headed out because his injuries were not enough to need to go to the hospital. But police say a man and a woman in their 20s forced the man to drive them to the 500 block of East 15th Street in National City. At that point, they tell me the male suspect hit the victim in the forehead with the butt of a semi-automatic handgun, forced him out of his own car and took off. Now we're told they were last seen southbound through an alley towards East 16th Street. Police are still searching for that vehicle. We have just learned minutes ago it's a 2002 white Ford Taurus. We are working to get you that license plate and more information. We'll bring you an update in just the next half hour. We're live in National City. Hannah Mullins, 10 News.
Hannah, thank you. 4 minutes after 5 o'clock. Developing now, an important lead in the Boston bombings investigation has been uncovered. Melissa Messia is back now with what the surviving suspect told FBI interrogators.
And Koshal Jahar Zanayev says he and his brother Tamerlan considered suicide attacks and striking on the 4th of July as they plotted their deadly assault. Now, according to investigators, Jahar and Tamerlan ultimately decided to use pressure cooker bombs and other homemade explosive devices. The brothers finished the bombs in Tamerlan's apartment faster than they thought and decided to move up their plans and attack the Boston Marathon. They picked the finish line of the marathon, as we know, after driving around Boston looking for alternative sites. Now, the largest sporting event since the Boston bombings kicks off this weekend. You can take a look here on your screen. These are pictures posted from the Kentucky Derby's Twitter page. You can see the stage is set, but this weekend extra security guards will be stationed here. Law enforcement will have electric wands and searches, as well as extra staff looking for anything suspicious. Melissa Messia, 10 News.
Melissa, thank you. New from overnight, a string of recent attacks on the SDSU campus has students frightened. Police received a frantic phone call from a woman on El Cajon Boulevard Thursday night who thought someone was trying to kidnap her. Officers say after a man got out and told the woman he would give her a ride, she ran away. Officers say she had heard reports of the recent kidnapping attempts on campus and panicked. This limo driver is in the hospital after police say a woman ran a red light in Hillcrest overnight. Happened in the intersection of 5th and Robinson around 2:30 this morning. Police say the woman had 2 other men in the car with her when she ran the light and crashed her SUV into the limo. Both the woman and the limo driver suffered minor injuries.
Happening today, Kevin Keniston will be sentenced for posing as a cop to stop and terrorize women in the South Bay. Keniston's March sentencing date was postponed because his attorney claimed one of the witnesses lied on the stand. That was later determined to be untrue. Keniston was convicted of 20 crimes involving using a phony cop car to stop women in Chula Vista. The 43-year-old is looking at as much as 20 years in prison today. 10 News will be there. We'll let you know what he gets. Also happening today, the transient accused of stabbing and killing a cross-dresser will be formally charged. Police say Bruce Hunt stabbed a man who was dressed in women's clothes several times with a machete Tuesday night. A witness in a nearby restaurant saw what was happening and ran to help. He thought it was a woman being attacked. Witness managed to hold the suspect until Oceanside police arrived. Hunt's arraignment will begin at 1:30 this afternoon in Vista Court.
Now to an alarming story coming out of China this morning. 900 people are behind bars accused of selling fake and tainted meat there. Authorities say they took meat from foxes, mink, and rats, added some chemicals, and sold it as lamb. Many would also inject water into the meat to increase its weight and process meats with hydrogen peroxide.
Right now in Louisiana, dozens of people are being kept out of their homes because of an explosion and fire in an oil tank. Look at the flames. Video shows what it looked like minutes after one of 2 oil holding tanks ruptured and burst into flames outside Baton Rouge. It forced the evacuation of about 35 homes. So far, firefighters have kept the fire away from the second tank, but it is bulging from the ambient heat from the fire next door. That's why people who live nearby are being kept out for now.
8 minutes after 5 o'clock. Today, a task force in Newtown, Connecticut will talk about what to do with the school where 20 first graders and 6 educators were killed in December. Elected officials have narrowed it down to 2 choices. They'll either renovate or rebuild on the existing school or build a new school on property nearby. The recommendation will then go to a local school board for approval. A new look this morning at the damage left behind after that deadly blast at the fertilizer plant in West Texas. Look at the devastation. Large pieces of debris and car parts still lying on the ground. Investigators still looking for what caused that explosion. It flattened 15 acres in the city, killed 14 people, registered as a 2.1 earthquake. Almost 200 others were also injured.
And just about 5:10, good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us on this Friday morning. We look at red flag warning still for today for our coast, our valleys and our mountains till about 6 o'clock. But overall, the Santa Ana wind pattern is going to start to weaken. Easterly winds still can expect some sustained winds between 15 and 35 miles per hour. But different from yesterday, we're expecting only gusts up to about 45 as opposed to 60 that we felt yesterday. Humidity levels will still be dry, 5 to 15%, and still lasting about 6 hours or more. Now, within this red flag warning, there is a wind advisory, and that's expected when wind gusts are expected up to about 35 miles per hour. And so take a look. This is the National Weather Service Service's website, and what we're looking at are some wind gusts. All of the numbers in red indicate where the wind gusts are. And what I'm noticing today, this morning, right now, compared to yesterday at the same time, is that we have fewer wind gusts out there popping up, and they're not as strong. So they're more about 15 to 20s as opposed to 30s and 40s of yesterday. We got a little bit of a bump as we get closer to sunrise, but overall, the pattern is for this offshore pattern to start to decrease, but it's still going to be offshore. We're still going to get some of that warming, and so we'll go slightly warmer than yesterday. We'll look at our 10U sky cams, and we're seeing right here, for instance, the city lights along the 15. So we're starting off clear this morning with our temperatures. Vista at about 60, Mira Mesa 53, and San Diego at about 60 degrees. But the overall pattern is now starting to change. This here, as we get into the weekend, will start to influence us even more. That system will send some disturbances our way, and we'll start to get some cooling going on. Today, about mid-80s. We're backing down from the low 90s, more mid-80s at Lindbergh Field, but you get a little warmer if you just move away from the beach in that area. And then 70s tomorrow, and then 60s with a late chance of on Sunday of some showers into Monday and Tuesday. And then you look at inland 7-day forecast, some mid-90s here, and then 80s tomorrow, and then 70s and 60s coming our way. Monday looking like the wettest day coming. All right, in about 10 minutes, we'll have forecast highs for specific cities. We'll see how hot it's going to get today. Melissa, good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, we have another crash here, this one just east of the 15. I pulled up the location because it's not exactly on a city, or on the freeway, rather. It's on city streets here. It's Bear Valley Parkway, right at Sunset Drive. So this one, apparently, this crash here blocking lanes. So just watch out for that if you're up in the North County in the Escondido area. Now let me go ahead and move on over to our freeways here. 163 south. Again, I had that earlier collision. That one has cleared. Your drive times for this Friday morning from the 15 down to the 5, you're looking at a 12-minute commute. We'll take you over to the 805, give you an update there. That's coming up next.
11 after 5, traumatic plunge. Who the driver of the semi has to thank for her watery rescue.
And bold pursuit. 10 News cameras caught a wild chase in El Cajon. What the driver did that started it all. Plus,
he had both hands up on the steering wheel, was honking the horn with his snout.
Furry felon, the tempting treat which caused the bear to break into a car. You're watching 10 News this morning.